All right. I am Roland Pruitt, and this is my Kaiju review show, number two. Don't call it that, but there it is. Well, some people think this movie is number two. In any case, we'll talk about that later, maybe. This is a show dedicated to Japanese kaiju films by Toho, and later on, when we run through all of those, we might do some other big monsters, some other kaiju. But let me bring out my able-bodied assistants, as General Howitzer always says about his crew. Professor Wallnut, Anastasia cannot be here right now, but she's there. You are.
I'm still here in spirit because I want to support. Of course, I always support you, Roland. You know I'm very supportive.
She's supportive, so we love
Thank
that.
you.
And we have a special guest here. He lives in Japan. He's a huge Godzilla fan, and he knows a lot about the Godzilla films. And he asked if he could be on the show, and I was like, "Why, sure, come on in." So let's welcome George Morgan.
Konnichiwa.
There he is. So, as Godzilla films go, this is not a lot of people's favorite. We talked about that before the show, but it's it's a Godzilla film, so it's not in color, but we colorized our timeline so you could see it in color, which is nice. A lot of work, thank you. I'm gonna pat myself on the back of my Godzilla shirt. Yeah. So, and in it, Godzilla. The main thing about this film is it's the first Godzilla match against another kaiju. So, and he fights Anguirus. And for some reason, in some of the later films, Anguirus is dubbed as Anguillus in the American versions with an L. Don't know why. So, okay. So let's go ahead and start our timeline. There it is. This is the Japanese version. I'm hearing a little something. Maybe it's a delay of me talking. I don't know.
Yeah, there seemed to be a bit of I don't know, interference.
That's what it sounds like. Sounds like the aliens in Mars Attacks.
But that's normal, though. That's normal for you.
All right. So, okay. We'll get back. So the main characters in this film work for like a fish company, like a shipping company that helps fishermen to get fish and sell them. And we have Shiochi Tsukioka, who is played by Hiroshi Koizumi. And now he would end up being in a lot of the Godzilla films, especially the Showa series. He usually played professors and doctors and scientists, but here he plays the lead character. He plays the pilot, Tsukioka. And his girlfriend on the radio to the left there is Hidemi Yamaji, played by Sasuko Wakayama. And to my knowledge, this was the only Godzilla film she was ever in. Correct me if I'm wrong. And again, hopefully we'll get some live participants who can chat with us. That's what the show's all about. So we're live on YouTube, and I think we're live on. Help me out here, Anastasia. We're live on.
Yes, we are live right now on the Twitters at Elon Ruin and Call X. It's we are live there. We are live on Twitch. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook, of course. So all these every platform that we are allowed to be on, really. So yes.
Bring to that.
Yes, exactly. Nostrovia, Elon. I didn't mean it, but I really did.
I like to call Twitter X, even though a lot of people don't like X and they like Twitter better. I like to call it X, like Monster X. So, all right. So she's talking to Tsukioka. There is another pilot named Koji Kobayashi. There he is. And he's played by Minoru Chiaki. And he was actually in a lot of the films, like the samurai films. Help me out here, Professor Wallnut.
Oh, you mean the Kurosawa?
Kurosawa films. There we go.
Yes. Yeah, it's
as is
quite a popular fellow.
as is Takashi Shimura, who plays Dr. Yamane in the first Godzilla film, and he makes a cameo. He comes back as Dr. Yamane in this one as well. We'll talk about him later. Yeah, they both worked with Kurosawa a lot. And unfortunately, Minoru Chiaki, who's a great actor, he's a great character actor, never appeared in another Godzilla film after this, which is a shame, because a lot of the guys from those Kurosawa films who were good actors were in the Godzilla films. All right, so the girl at the bottom right and the top left.
That was the factor of the actual 1950s in Japan, where they hired when you were hired as talent, you worked according to your contract for whoever company said you had to work. You didn't have a choice, and they had good talent in the 1950s. And then slowly, when they get later in the 50s and the 60s, they sent the talent to the director that requested them the most. Thus, Kurosawa got the best actors.
There you go. Yeah, they were contract actors.
Right.
And yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the really good ones from the Kurosawa films did not appear in the Godzilla films. Some of them did. Some of the character actors did. And we might talk about that later. Anyway, the other girl is the girlfriend of Kobayashi. And hopefully, George, you can clear this up for us. She kind of disappears at the end of the film, and we were wondering, did she die? Did she get killed like when Godzilla and Anguirus were fighting in Tokyo? Because she just disappeared. She just doesn't come back at the end of the film. She's just gone.
I think she was. The last scenes were cut from the American version. I think they were cut from the Japanese version. What happened? I'm looking right now. I actually wasareta, which means I have forgotten.
Uh-oh. So yeah, when I was doing the screenshots of this Japanese version of the film, that's what I had thought too. Is maybe they just cut her out at the end of the American version. But no, she's not in the end of this one either. So I was like, oh, did I? Maybe I missed something in the translation, where maybe she passed on, or maybe they just couldn't afford to keep her for another week. I don't know. I think this is pretty low budget.
What's her name?
The name of the actress is Yuko Kasama. Oh no! I'm sorry. That's not her.
That's the president of the fishery.
That's the president of the company. Yeah. Give me a second here.
What's really sad is that nobody missed her. Nobody mentions her again. It's like never existed. I think she was a ghost right from the beginning.
It's probably Yasuko, and Yui's are probably her character name, and Mayuri Makusho is the actress's name.
She's the radio operator.
She's the radio operator.
Yasuko Inouaya. Yeah. Mayuri Maski. I'm sick. Let me check. I'm gonna check my Japanese sources.
All right. Very good. While you're doing that, we'll continue on with our timeline. So Kobayashi has a little bit of engine trouble with his airplane. So there's the boss of the company. A few months back, when they did this show on General Howitzer's Big Monster Briefing Room, General Howitzer said this guy looks like a Japanese version of Floyd the Barber from Mayberry, which I thought was very funny.
Which one came first?
Put a little mustache on him. Oh, Kobayashi. Oh, you're going down. Oh. So I thought that was kind of amusing. So anyway.
Which one came first? Who, the Mayberry actor or which appearance was first? Because this was
about the same time.
Yeah.
It was the mid-50s when Mayberry started, I think.
So maybe Mayberry copied him because they thought it was so good.
Mayberry could very well be. Sugioka goes out in his plane to go see if he can save Kobayashi. Kobayashi has landed on an island in the middle of nowhere out there in the Pacific. And he finds Kobayashi on the beach, waving on the rocks, waving him down. And he comes in, and they set up a nice fire to dry their leather jackets. And they hear some growling and fighting going on up above. And it turns out that there's a Godzilla up there. There's another one. Somehow another Godzilla exists, and it's fighting another monster. A spiny-backed monster that we will learn is Anguirus. Now, these guys are doing some fantastic acting, looking scared and all, but I don't think that leather jacket is going to keep a boulder from crushing your head in. But Kobayashi's he's feeling lucky.
The monster name, what's the monster name one more time?
Anguirus.
Anguirus.
Anguirus. It's short for Anguillosaurus. And again, in the American versions of the film, sometimes he's called Anguillus.
That's right. The Anguillus and Anguillus. They changed the name because we can't, because Americans can't pronounce Japanese, and Japanese can't pronounce the English, so it's
they have troubles with L's and R's. It's true. So yeah, and again, I blame it on the people that are dubbing the film. You should know better. You know, when you're dubbing these films, you should know, hey, that's not the way they say that. Come on. But they did it anyway. Oh, we'll just call them Anguillus. Who's going to know? Who's going to care? Thanks.
Oh, do you know that the dubbing done by to English to Japanese and Japanese to English for Japanese companies is a specific worker. That's their job to do it 7 days a week or 6 days a week. And they're given a set amount of time and a limit of number of words they're allowed to actually put on the subtitles.
Okay.
So either the translation or the subtitles, sometimes the translation does not match sometimes at all. Because they don't have time.
Because they're tired.
Sometimes the guy's talking, he's like,
damn, I'm bushed. I'll just write this in.
just talking. He's like,
well, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he goes, thank you. And now he just said like 20 words.
He didn't say that. He's trying to light a cigarette. Wait a minute. He didn't say that. So the monsters go into the drink, which usually happens at the end of Godzilla films. They fall in the water and then it's the end of the movie. It's like, how do we end this shit? Oh, I know. We'll just dump them in the ocean.
Everyone dies when they go in the ocean anyway.
And then one of them flies off, and that's it.
In Japan, when you go in the ocean, that's it. They don't see you again.
We will see you soon. Sayonara. See you next Tuesday. So back at home, they're giving them I don't know. What are the sketch artist books? To look, which can you point them out in the lineup? Hey, it's the one with the spines on his back. That's one of them. So they find the Anguillosaurus, is what they call it in the movie.
You know, every school has these books, so it's very easy. They just pick it up and they go, okay.
They still have them, even the same book from the 1950s.
Of course, it's updated.
That picture, I drew a mustache on that dinosaur. So there is a professor here. He is called Dr. Tadakaro, played by Masao Shimizu. And I'm guessing he's a much younger actor than they've got him made up to look like. That's just a guess. And he's concerned. And he takes the book over to Dr. Yamane, who's in the room. Whoa, who would have thought? And Dr. Yamane's like, I bet Godzilla was the other one. And he talks about Godzilla, and they show some scenes from the first Godzilla movie to cash in on that. But again, when the movie was released in America, I guess they didn't want to pay for the copyright on the name Godzilla, so they changed it to Gigantus the Fire Monster. And they called him Gigantus, and Gigantus 2 was Anguirus.
the reason I've read is that they didn't think that audiences would want to see a movie with the same character, so they had to give it another name to promote a new character that they could see, so people would go to the theaters.
So the guy was like, "Hey, don't hire Raymond Burr to come back as Steve Martin, okay?"
But so they didn't want it. Their fear was that they put Godzilla in the title again, people aren't going to see it because I already saw that's a Japanese that's the movie
Okay.
but this is for the Japanese audience.
That's a nicer reason.
But for the
But I did read the copyright thing many years ago. I can't remember where I read. Anyway, but yeah,
I read this in not this guide, but the other Japanese guide I have.
and then the Japanese don't want you to lose face, So, all right. So once they determine it's Godzilla, they decide to send ships and planes and stuff out to look for him again. Because they don't want him attacking Tokyo again. Obviously, they don't have another oxygen destroyer. And the guys for the fishing company decide to help out. By the way, I should probably wait until later. This is the Godzilla from the first movie, from the first Gojira from 1954.
Much smaller than I thought. I thought it was much larger.
Well, yeah. And this is the redoing of the costume. He's a little more svelte. He's lost a little weight. He doesn't have the thunder thighs that the first one has. And his neck is a little longer. And he's got some like pointy ears. Well, actually, they both have pointy ears.
Yes, they were both had very cat-like features.
Cat-like. That's interesting.
Yes.
And of course, this is Anguirus. And that's the guys at the fishing company. And he's got now. Originally, this spiny back was split up the center, and it opened up like a mattress. There's publicity photos that show that he could use the back. The back can actually flip up, and I guess stab people with the spikes. And then I guess they decided not to use it in a movie because he doesn't do it in the movie. So Kobayashi and Tsukioka are going to go out and look for Godzilla and help the effort. But in town, that night, they're going to dance with their girls, or at least Tsukioka is. They have a nice little nightclub scene. And as they are dancing, there is a message saying that there's a monster coming towards Tokyo. That damn speaker. Many blessings, Rory. Thank you, Greg Gannon. But he's not here right now. I'm Roland Pruitt. It happens all the time. They get confused. So they rush out of the club, everybody. George, have you ever seen this in color?
I think I have it in color. So
Really?
I think I might have it in my collection. In my house.
There is a colorized version in Japan.
Don't quote me on it, but I think I have a colorized version. Yes.
That would be a first because the first two movies, you can't get them in color in the U.S. as far as I know.
But I could be mistaken. But
People would love that. I would love that. So yeah. Okay. So I can't see what's in the picture there because I'm looking at my phone and it's very small.
Hold on a second. Here.
People running for the door.
He's probably watching on his computer. He could tell us.
Yes, there's just people just dashing to the door, like
Okay.
Mass panic.
There we go.
Cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria.
Mass
Mass
hysteria. That's
hysteria.
right. Exactly.
So the airplanes are coming, I guess.
Yes.
Sure enough, yep, there's Godzilla's
Okay.
head poking out of the water.
I'm-
I'll be honest with you. I like the theme song that Sato created for this particular scene. It's very ominous sounding. And him coming out of the water like that. Very slow and ominous sounding. Now, that's the famous water tank that they use in all the Godzilla films. I've heard stories that the water at times was kind of nasty.
I was gonna say, I hope they change the water every now and again, like a fish
They
tank.
probably didn't clean it as often as a swimming pool.
Drop a few gallons of chlorine into it.
They probably only used it once every few months, you know.
It was probably too expensive to drain it out every time. So
Yeah.
So they just left it standing.
Or it was there was no one that actually was told to clean it. So if they're not told to actually clean it, it's only cleaned by, there's no cleaning staff at any business and any studios, any schools, any play. So they would have to clean it themselves by hand.
All right, Super AS crew, go clean the pool. You're going to be playing around the pool, go clean it. This is the Godzilla puppet. In this movie, they kind of drop flares around him and kind of lead him around that way. He likes the flares.
Ooh, sparkly.
They also did this in Varan a couple of years later. And then we have the obligatory let's evacuate this side of the city scene.
Right.
Well, we can't.
Thousands of extras. Heard it like cats.
And Tsukioka and Kobayashi go to take his girlfriend home, Hidemi. And then they're like, hey, let's go back to the action. And she's like, oh, wait. Don't leave me. But that's what happens. And there's Godzilla coming out of the ocean, out of the tank. The flares. Fireflies. They're like fireflies. Ooh. And after the firefly thing works, the guys are pretty happy with themselves. Hey, look, he's moving away. Good. Nice little reaction shot there. Here's where they leave Hidemi at the front door, hop in the car and haul ass again. We're going back to where the destruction is. Because we're stupid. You just sit here in your fur coat.
The middle of summer.
But
in Tokyo, right?
I don't know. Does it get cold in Tokyo?
Like New York, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're all wearing leather and coats and stuff, so I'm guessing it's the winter. It's getting close to winter anyway.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, yeah, it is getting close to winter because that's the whole end of the movie. Silly me. Okay, so here we have an interesting side story now. Just to kill time, because the movie's only like an hour and 10 minutes. Anyway, they throw in a, police truck full of escaped convicts that are convicts that they're moving from one jail to another, probably. And we get some character actors that we recognize from the Godzilla films over on the right there with the guy with the handkerchief around
all these guys are in jail for stealing the mattresses off those mattresses. They peeled them off, do not steal.
They took the tags off the mattresses.
Yeah,
the guy on the left is one of Kurosawa's boys, actually. He's in a couple of these films. And he plays like, they call him the head convict. The one on the right with the handkerchief around his head, he comes back later in King Kong versus Godzilla as the interpreter. And he usually plays a silly character in most of the Godzilla movies, the early ones. So he's a convict, and he's the little convict in this one with the toothache.
Chicha Kubito.
So the guys in the front are oblivious to what's going on in the back. They've got a little plan where they're going to cover up the window with a little yawn stretch there and take the one guard. There's only one guard with like 200 guys in the back of this truck. They should have known something was going to go awry.
But they wouldn't escape if they had a chance, because you can't escape unless you're told you're allowed to escape.
Is that so? Well, I got news for you. These guys don't play by the rules.
Darn.
So, yeah, they take over the guard. The guard looks at the guy that's driving, looks over his shoulder in the back. Hey, what are you guys doing? And you realize it's a prison break. They're getting away. So they hop out of the van. They start shooting. And they shoot a couple of them. Shoot one guy in the leg. He can't get away. But 3 convicts do get away and run up the street.
Now, with the flares, I'm reading, it's not Tokyo, it's Osaka.
Oh, it's Osaka. I'm sorry.
Osaka Bay.
Yeah.
I know that exact location. I've been looking out that location before, and I was like, where are the flares? They're still.
That's right. It's conveniently where the Kobayashi and Tsukioka's office is in that city, is in Osaka. Yeah. They have to move later to Hokkaido when Godzilla and Anguirus pretty much destroy their business.
Yes.
So, a couple of these escaped convicts grab a gas truck,
the smartest,
which is left open with the keys in it, because that makes for fun, you know. And they haul boogie. Now, a car driven by Tsukioka and Kobayashi comes upon where this is going on, and the police commandeer their car, and now they're part of the manhunt for these escaped convicts.
Follow that gas truck.
Follow that gas truck before it hits something. These convicts don't know how to drive, so yeah, you got a chase scene going on, and the driver is pretty insane. I know what I'm doing. And of course,
he doesn't have a license. See, in Japan, you need a license to drive a small CC motorcycle, and then a larger CC one, and then a small size car, and you need a different license to drive a truck, and you need a different license to drive a big truck. So they had no experience ever driving it.
You have to have like a trucker driver and see how to drive those big rigs.
No, but that's another license. You have to have a separate license. You have to actually take the test for each one.
Well, obviously, this guy didn't take the test because he flips this bad boy in like 2 minutes. He just flips it.
But the reason he flipped it is because he didn't take the test, not because he can't take the test. It's because he didn't take that test.
So, Anastasia, do you think he took the test? Maybe she's driving. So
I hope she took a test.
He flips the truck.
Took the test, yeah.
And it catches, bursts into flames because it's a gas truck.
But at what temperature does the flame have to actually reach to reach that fire?
So for books, it's Fahrenheit 451, but I don't know. Gas probably a lot lower. That's my guess. So, so they're looking at Tsukioka, and the cops are like, "Oh, that didn't go well." Flares are not as bright as a big giant gas tanker fire, which is over on the other side of the city now, unfortunately. And Godzilla is like, "Huh? Ooh.
Right.
Pretty. Hey.
Barbecue over here. Yakiniku going on.
To hell with the flares. I'm going over here," says the puppet.
Yeah, I think the whole escape convict thing was just to get to that point where they blow up the it was just a plot thing. This like, how are we going to blow up this gas reservoir? Oh, we know. Escape convicts.
How do we stretch this out for another 10, 12 minutes so that Godzilla actually doesn't go after the flares like we hope he does? And here we are. So
and of course,
he comes back to shore.
Convicts are expendable.
Because the convicts are expendable. I was going to say that because you have to get rid of them. They broke out, so they need to blow up in a horrible fire.
That would be a good title for a movie. Convicts are expendable.
Yes.
Create some convicts that we can really invest our time and energy into, and put a bunch of obstacles in their way and make them survive. But they're expendable. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Suicide Squad. Anyway, so the tanks and the military are there and they're firing at Godzilla. Now, I don't know why, because in the first movie it didn't have any effect on him. But hey, this is a different Godzilla. He's a little thinner. Maybe his skin's a little thinner. But no, he is one angry.
It wouldn't matter, because if they're told to fire, they're going to fire whether it's going to happen or not.
And and then the Air Force comes out and they're firing missiles at it. This is just a waste of ammo to me, but okay. You got to show that you're trying, I guess, like you said. But yeah,
it's not the Air Force and it's not the Army. It's the Defense Force. You got to get that correct.
All right.
Right. SDF. That's right. Yes.
The Defense Force. Always Defense Force.
I stand corrected. So yeah, that plane goes down pretty fast. The head of the
the fishery.
The fishery, yeah. He looks over and goes, "Hey, what's that?" And it's Anguirus. So now there's not just one monster. There's two. The giant gas tanker fire brought Anguirus out of the water. Hey! What are you doing? That looks good.
English.
That's my impression of Anguirus' English voice. Unlike Godzilla versus Gigan, I think it was, where he actually talked. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" Anguirus,
He did.
we'll have to go check and see. Okay, I'm on my way.
Yes.
That's where they jumped the shark right there.
Did Harvey Firestein do the voice?
Harvey Firestein as Anguirus. I just want to fight. Is that so wrong?
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
I gotta call my mother.
And there's like a record scratch thing going on with it too. I don't know what that's all about, but
Yeah, but that was the round. That was closer.
Something's wrong. Something's happening. King Ghidorah's coming. So yeah, it's inevitable. They start fighting again. They just don't like each other. I know. In later films, they become like drinking buddies. They're like best friends. But in this one, they just hate each other. They're just fighting all the time. You borrowed my records and didn't give them back.
Who wants to see two monsters just relaxing, having a beer?
Hey, let's just destroy this city together. Come on. Come on, follow me. We'll go to the center of town. Now, what's amazing about this is they tried, Subaru and his team tried something different. In most of the movies, they decided not to do it anymore after this movie. But they filmed the fight scenes. They actually kind of sped up the cameras, I think, a little bit, just to see what that would look like and be like.
Like Wallnut commented earlier that it looks like they're dancing or kissing. So I think they're doing the 50s was the cha-cha was the number one dance. So they're actually doing the cha-cha together.
That's it, the cha-cha, yes.
So evidently Subaru agreed with you guys when they watched the dailies, because he was like, "Oh, geez, we're not going to do this again." I kind of like it, actually. I mean, it looks intense. But no, they went back to slow motion for the monster movements, destruction movements later in films after this.
with the sound effects, of course.
Yeah.
That was much later. No.
So here we have the puppets. I love the puppets. They have that crazy head movements. And of course they have a spray can inside the head of Godzilla. So he can spray his atomic breath. And it's not long before the whole damn city's on fire. You know, when you got two monsters fighting it out there, everything's blowing up. Everything's catching fire. Poor Osaka.
Yes, poor Osaka. Yeah.
Yes.
You can't see Osaka Joe. You can't see.
Now explain to our viewers what Osaka Joe is.
Osaka Joe's Joe stands for castle, so it's the Osaka Castle. I remember. Can we see the castle?
I don't know. I'm not sure if you see it. I think it comes later. Actually, I think it comes later. Yeah, I think they destroy it.
And they probably actually did, because it's like destroyed every like 50 years. So they actually destroyed it, and the one now is made of plaster anyway. So if you go there and I go, oh, this is the actual one. No, it's made of plaster. It was destroyed in World War II. And I go, it was destroyed during Angelus, right, with Godzilla, yes? And I go, yes, of course.
Got to rebuild it again. Damn it. So, yeah, they're a little unhappy. Oh, my God, that's my fishery. Gah! Stay here. It's nice and warm here. Don't get too close. And on the other side of the bay, Hidemi's like, oh, see, now they go off, and look what happens. And they leave me here. Bastards.
Again.
They wander off and things explode.
And the whole sky's on fire. Great. Yeah, they'll be back.
She's having flashbacks from just 15 years before.
Yeah.
Damn Americans!
Oh, man. Yeah, this one is not so much an allegory for Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's just
well, they did have the bombing raids on Osaka too. So and all that whole area. Two
monsters fighting. That's it.
Yes.
Some nice shots of them in color for once. You know, squaring off.
The music is good in this movie too. I agree.
You know, some people bash Mamoru Sato's theme songs, but he's got some good stuff. I mean, it's hit or miss, but he's got some good stuff. I love his fight song from Son of Godzilla, which they used again in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
When King Caesar was fighting Mechagodzilla. So that's always. Sometimes he's got like kind of a happy music that doesn't kind of jive with what's going on, but for the most part, yeah, he's got some good music.
It's a kids movie, so they got to put that in there.
There have been worse, believe me. So, who's the guy that did the Smog Monster? That music. Oh my God.
That's Save the Earth one. You mean just the woman song?
Well, no, that was actually
the score.
I actually kind of dig that song.
Yes, the score.
But the Godzilla theme, which somebody called it the quacking theme, which I thought was hysterical.
That one's great too.
Godzilla's coming.
Who's that?
Here he comes. He's going to fight Hydra. He saved the world.
Yeah, this is an unfortunate shot.
Now this is they cut too soon. This is where the back probably came up and hit Godzilla in the face, but they decided not to use that. And it probably created wings too. You could fly. Anguirus could fly.
Moody.
Okay.
Moody.
Here's three of the other convicts, and this is a kind of a comic relief shtick going on, where everywhere they turn, they run into Godzilla and Anguirus fighting, and they end up going down into the subway for safety, and of course, down in the subway, if you're next to the bay, Yeah, they're putting their foot down in the bay and stuff, and their water's going down in the subway. So they have like a, I don't know, like a little tsunami down there. And yeah, they think they're safe here, obviously.
Which line is that? Which line?
And
Train.
yeah, they plunge down in the water, and the water goes into the subway and just washes these guys down into the electrical track, and that's it. They're done. Now they reused this plot device in Godzilla 1985, Godzilla Returns.
Yes,
There's a guy trying to escape, and Godzilla keeps showing up everywhere the guy turns. And he's like a thief or something too. He's like stealing from a building or something, and everywhere he turns, Godzilla's there, and he ends up dying.
80.
He's checking his book.
Yes, I'm looking the exact year for 80 because I believe it's 84 or 83.
We're getting fact checked live.
I just wanted to know.
You know, it's terrible how he fact checks me all the time.
Okay, it's
I'm doing the wrong thing.
Starting in the
That's my terrible
1960s.
Trump.
In the 60s, they started releasing the movies for children during the winter vacation. So they were all released in December. So it was released in December of 84, but it was titled 1985.
Right. They did the same thing with Godzilla 2000, which I believe you and I saw together in the movie theater when it came.
Yes, we did.
We did. That was
Yes.
that was a good time. Anyway,
what year was that?
It was 1999, but they called it Godzilla 2000. And 2000 was Godzilla versus Megaguirus.
Yes.
Giant mosquitoes.
But
I always
they're
said Mothra.
they're actually that size. In Japan, they're actually that size.
Gotta watch out. That's some malaria right there, man. Look out. More fighting. And that I believe that castle is coming up soon.
Yeah, the Osaka-jo.
There we go.
And that's about 20 miles or 30 miles in from this. So they're pretty far in.
Oh, really? Okay, well, it couldn't be that castle then.
No, it has to be that castle because that's the only one. It's famous, so it'd be one. If you're in Osaka, you'd be, and it looks like it too.
That's quite a stride, because they're by the bay. So,
well, one step for Godzilla. What's that? Godzilla is one step.
And you're in another neighborhood.
What's Godzilla say? He goes, one step for Godzilla, two steps Osaka-jo.
So okay, yeah. So anyway, they take a castle down there by the bay, and then Gojira gets his choppers onto Anguirus's neck, bites through his jugular vein. Godzilla's a werewolf now, and he rolls him into the bay and fries him with his atomic breath.
Yakiniku.
On top,
Yakiniku.
Yeah, on top, and he looks very evil here when he does this, by the way. The puppet looks very evil there. Look at the white eyes, the reflection on the eyes. Anyway, I guess the spiny back in his head, he can't burn him up with that because he hits him with his atomic breath, and he doesn't die. He doesn't catch fire. But on his belly, he's able to catch fire. Or maybe Godzilla just turned it up a notch. I'm not sure. I'm not completely sure. But
I think you're talking. The kids are watching. Their image kids are going to be watching this, so it's definitely you can't hurt him on the armored back.
It's like Gamera.
You have to
Gamera. You can't hurt him on his back, but if you take out a leg or two,
that's why they call it the soft underbelly.
Wait till he opens his mouth, maybe. And again, Hidemi's watching TV, and it's not getting any better. It's like, oh my God.
The whole city's on fire.
I lost my boyfriend. I lost my boyfriend's best friend. Great. Wonderful. So she's worried.
Do I even have a job?
And the shot of the city after the fact. We did this in the first movie. Why not again? Twisted steel. And now they're talking to the guy who's the manager of the Hokkaido branch. Hey, can we stay at your place for a while? operate, from your place? Oh, that would be wonderful. And I believe this is the last place we see Kobayashi's girlfriend.
Yes.
I think after this, she just disappeared. She's gone.
Well, she stayed in Osaka, so why would she go there?
All right. And again, I'm wondering, did they just cut out a scene where she dies in Osaka?
No, I didn't find anything. I looked and I didn't find. I think when I'm just guessing is that she's Japanese, so she lives with her parents. So they left, so she just goes back to live with her parents. So
she quit.
All right. Well, there it is. Happy ending.
She just quits. Like, you know what? This job is getting a little too dangerous.
Kobayashi, I love you and all, but mom and dad said we gotta go.
Yeah.
All right. So we fast forward to winter.
Came over. We're not getting out of here, man. We're not getting out of here, man. Okay.
We fast forward to winter, which is not a great time, I guess, for planes to be looking for fish. But hey, gotta work. Icicles on the windows, and Tsukioka and Kobayashi are back out there doing their thing.
They have to make it like Hokkaido, and so even though Hokkaido does have a summer, but I think they're just when they say Hokkaido and the audience is looking, you just picture winter because it's just a huge ass frozen tundra.
Hokkaido is in the north.
Hokkaido is the most northern prefecture. It's an island about the size of two Floridas or one Florida, basically. Okay. It's shaped like a triangle.
All right.
And it's if you go west, it's Siberia.
Wow.
Okay. So all right. So yes, it's a northern. Hell, I'm trying to think of the city in China that's like that. They do the ice sculptures and stuff all the time.
It's north of Peking, Beijing. It's
so
more north of that. There's another one.
I guess it's relatively cold in the summer too. All right, got it. Now, what's funny is it's because in Godzilla versus Mothra, Mothra versus Godzilla in 1964, the first one.
The thing in English title, right?
And in America, it was Godzilla versus the Thing. Yeah, that was the dumbest, like John Carpenter thing. That would have been interesting. And that's actually kind of like Orga. Anyway, kind of just makes himself into the monster. Anyway, what was I saying now? In Mothra versus Godzilla, Godzilla attacks Hokkaido again. And again, it looks very, it doesn't look cold. It looks, like it's in the middle of summer.
But they do have summer, and it's pretty mountainous, and it has lots of beautiful forests. And where in the winter it's freaking cold. It's like Canada, or like North Dakota, where I was born.
The Canada of Japan. All right. Totem poles. All right, so Kobayashi is out there, and he's now. This is interesting. This guy is able to throw a scroll out of his plane and actually hit a ship. I mean, it goes right onto the deck of the ship. What a target! That's amazing.
Ninja training. It's a ninja training he did.
Man, I'm telling you, that's amazing. So they're in business. They're doing their business. That night, they go to the sake house, and they meet up with some of their old war buddies, including Captain Terasawa, played by Seijiro Onda. And they also meet up with a couple of other friends of theirs. One of them is Ren Yamamoto, who's in a lot of the Godzilla films, a lot of the Toho monster films. And Yoshio Tachiya, who's the head of the Osaka Defense Force. He's Tajima. He's in a lot of the Godzilla films. And very heroic in this one, I might add. There's Ren Yamamoto on the right. I'm sorry, Captain Sarasawa is on the left. And you can't really see Tajima yet, but you will, because again, very heroic. He flies planes. I guess they used to fight. They used to fly during the war. So Hidemi is talking to her guy Tsukioka on the airlines radio, and this is where Kobayashi leaves his little black book on the table. He makes some kind of comment, like a smart ass comment. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be coming to join you." Boy, you drank a lot of sake last night. Ha 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 ha. I'm with your girlfriend. Something like that. I'm not sure what it was. But he leaves his and there's a picture of his girlfriend who we've established ran off with her parents. And it's cute. She's got the little Japanese schoolgirl look going in the picture. And
wait, George was showing us the map of the location.
Okay.
Can we see it again?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. ちょっと待って。ちょっと待って。
Yeah. Can we have a close up?
So here is Japan. This is Japan.
Yes.
Japan. And Tokyo is here, and Osaka is here, and then you go all the way to the top, and there's Hokkaido, and then to the west. To the west is Siberia, Russia.
Siberia. I'm not sure if Anastasia can tell you anything about Siberia because I think she's from Transylvania. So, anyway, she sounds Russian though, but she's from Transylvania.
But she's not rushing. She's just taking her time.
There you go. Did you hear that? Okay. She goes back to the timeline. I'm not answering you, knucklehead. So we get a cute little picture of the girlfriend, dressed as a Japanese schoolgirl, and we move on.
You got to wear that every day, That's just
even if you're not in school.
It is true. Even if you're not in school, when you study, you have to wear it 7 days a week, and they do. Still.
Grandma, can you put that outfit away?
Up until
I don't want to see you in it. So they spot Godzilla. Tsukioka spots Godzilla, and he points it out to the military force, the Japanese Defense Force, Osaka Defense Force. They make a note of it, and they go out again. And they send ships, they send planes, and Kobayashi spots him as he is going through a pass. Which is surrounded by ice and snow. And, they don't have another oxygen destroyer. So how are they going to kill Godzilla now? How are they going to stop him? So he's heading through this pass. They fire some missiles at him. And some of the snow gets loosened on the tops of the mountain caps and falls around him. And Kobayashi gets the idea, hey, maybe if we shoot enough missiles at him and enough missiles at the tops of these mountains, we can bury him in ice. Lizards don't like ice. They hibernate. So, unfortunately, they don't have enough missiles to do it now. So, they just kind of start the process. And then Ren Yamamoto's team, the landing craft team, they're gonna set up some fire on the shore there to keep him there, keep him inside that pass, so he doesn't try to escape. And there we go. There he is. That is Tojima Yoshio Tsuchiya. Now he's got Tsukioka in the back of his plane now, and they're coming back with more missiles and more bombs. And again, instead of firing at Godzilla, which they know is not going to work, they just try not to get too close and fire at the tops of the mountain so that the ice rains around him and freezes him, makes him go to sleep. Now, unfortunately, Godzilla uses his breath. Now, okay, I got to get you to all look very closely at this slide because he hits Kobayashi's plane, which is obviously on fire there. But do you see any fire behind Kobayashi in the cockpit? No.
Nope.
This was a continuity error that drives me nuts. He's
It's
not on
not-
fire. His plane doesn't even look like it's near fire. And yet Godzilla nuked him. So he kamikazes into the top of a mountain, helping to rain more ice down on Godzilla. And of course, Tsukioka just lost his best friend. So terrible. He's going to cry for the rest of the picture now.
And the island that they're burying Godzilla on, the island's name is Kashikoshi.
Okay.
Kashiko
Now,
Jima. Kashiko Jima is actually a real island.
easy for you to say.
There's a real island there's a real island by that name, but it's not in Hokkaido. It's near Osaka.
Back to Osaka. Well, you know, it's weird because at the beginning of Godzilla, King Kong versus Godzilla, he's in an iceberg. It's not, I mean, there's no land whatsoever. It's just an iceberg. So somehow that ice that surrounded Godzilla slipped into the bay. And there's a bunch of other icebergs around it too. I mean, that's why they send the Seahawk out to look and inspect. And, you know, Godzilla's in the iceberg. So go figure.
That's why Titanic made so much money, because when people go traveling, they see icebergs everywhere.
In the Atlantic. You don't see too many icebergs in the Pacific, but there it is.
I think you don't see too many icebergs, and then that's the end of that statement.
So, again, the writers were almost as bad as Universal Studios with the continuity of these films from film to film. Anyway, if you watch the Frankenstein movies, they make no sense at all going from film to film. Anyway,
I don't have any sense from the beginning of the movies at the end of the movies too. So that's.
Let me get this straight. Now you're calling the town Frankenstein? The town is called Frankenstein now?
No. I'm just saying. You said that from one Frankenstein to another one, you don't understand the continuity.
The continuity
I don't understand
sucks.
the continuity
It's
from the
terrible.
beginning of the movie to the end of the movie.
Well, the movie itself is okay, but you were like, well, wait a minute. Weren't they in this place first? Wait,
Yes, no.
Henry
I'm being
Frankenstein?
facetious. I'm being facetious. Sorry. I'm going overboard.
Now he's called Baron von something Frankenstein? Wait a minute. Hold on. So Godzilla's not happy because there's all kinds of ice raining around him. Tajima, very happy, even though Kobayashi just died. Tajima is ecstatic. It's like, we're gonna kill him. We're gonna get him with this ice. So yeah, they just keep hitting the tops of those mountains, and there's a lot of slides of this. I'm sorry. I know you show it one time, that's it. It's over. And here I've got like 16 slides of nothing but them shooting the top. And there we go. Ice up around his neck. Way back at the fishery, and I guess it's the Osaka fishery because it doesn't look like it's winter outside anymore.
But it could be the Hokkaido one because they do have warm summers.
So they get the word that Kobayashi's dead, that he's sacrificed himself. The team comes out with their barrels of oil to set them on fire, or gasoline. Oil burns, but gasoline goes up a lot faster. Godzilla's starting to make his way out. Hey, I'm getting out of here. If I just get this thunder thigh out of here. And there's Ren Yamamoto at his best right there, screaming at Kaiju. He does it really well. He plays a ship captain at the beginning of War of the Gargantuas. Hey, you guys! And he gets attacked by an octopus. But luckily, a giant green monster saves him, only to have him swim for his life while his buddies get eaten. But I digress. So they continue their plan He's coming. You never saw pontoon boats haul ass faster than this scene right here. They go in reverse real fast, and they blow up the tank, the gasoline, whatever it is, the flammable liquid. Godzilla's not happy about it. So his feet are still stuck in ice. And we went so long. He's going for a bathroom break.
Sorry. I just the AC just came on, and my feet. I felt like I was in Hokkaido.
You felt like you were in the end of this movie. So Tajima gives the order, and they start hitting the tops of the mountains again. And Godzilla's not happy about it, but Tajima, he knows what he's doing. And they just keep hitting it again and again and again. Sorry. Godzilla's using his breath. And that's the other thing. If Godzilla's completely surrounded by ice, wouldn't the atomic breath get him out pretty quick?
Yeah, he
you know.
It doesn't work against ice.
Kooky me. It just reflects back to him. Okay. There we go. Like a laser. See, don't want to burn my face.
It's a chemical heat, not an actual.
That makes sense, actually, in a weird kind of stupid way, but that makes sense. I don't want to burn my lips.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a chemical heat. Yes.
Damn, this ice is so thick. Ow, my lips. So there he is. He's buried. Everybody's happy. Hey, we did it.
It's just like in The Shining. So.
Yes.
How do I get out?
You know, the thought of Godzilla chasing people with an axe, a giant axe, like King Kong. Here's Kong. And I think back to my friend Kobayashi, who gave his life for this movie.
And the actor who played Anguirus and the actor who played Godzilla, those are both ones who play either one and other monsters up until many years.
Yeah, well,
60,
Haru
70.
Nakajima played Godzilla for, oh my God, up through Gigan, Godzilla versus Gigan. So he did it for years.
But they list
Nakajima-san.
Katsumi Tezuka, who played Anguirus. They list him as also playing Gala, sorry. He's Mongira in Mysterians. He's Varan.
Mugara, yeah.
He's Maguma in Garath.
Maguma.
He's in Godzilla as the King Kong Godzilla. Only the iceberg scene only, because it's a shot from this movie.
That's a good scene too. It's a great entrance.
And he's only a soldier. He's Godzilla in Ghidra, 1964. He's Godzilla in Ghidra. At least they could have two.
Ghidra, the three-headed monster. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Godzilla, and that's the last one I have him listed. His last movie was 5 Gents Prefer Geisha, so I guess he's not Godzilla in that. So
he was probably a geisha. That's my guess. So, all right. Well, that's it. That's Godzilla Raids Again. They bury him in ice, and we'll see him again in King Kong versus Godzilla. Thank you so much, George, for joining us on this romp in color for the first time. In full. I think anywhere. I hope. I don't know. You said you might have a copy at home. If you do, I want a copy. Anyway. Do you realize how much time that would have saved me? Anyway.
I couldn't do it, man.
I
don't have the time.
Don't have it here with me in the hotel.
James, what do you mean? My doctor.
Doctor. Professor Wallnut, thank you so much for joining us as usual. Giving a short
always a pleasure.
Anastasia, wherever you are, I hope you're okay.
Thank you. I'm just, I'm in noisy place, but it's okay. I enjoy all of it. George is very, very intelligent and very happy to learn from him. Thank you so much.
And I hope you got your truck driving license.
Yes. Yeah.
So, all right,
And
folks.
no gas trucks. No gas trucks.
No gas truck.
No gas trucks. The next one, we're going to do next Tuesday is Rodan, the very first color.
And just for clarification, the English is Rodan, the Japanese is Radon.
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 Short for Pterodon.
And and if I have a chance, when I get back to Nippon, if my arms aren't too tired, I could join if I have a chance. I'll enjoy if it's possible.
We'd love to have you. You're always welcome. Thank you all for joining us, everybody, for this show. And again, we hope you will continue to watch the show, continue to follow and like. Again, we're just going to keep on going through the Toho canon. And Radon is
Radon.
Okay.
Radon,
brother. And that's it.
Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. Thanks.